everyone, and welcome to my channel. So today I want to talk a little bit about the Jimmy Kimmel situation and First Amendment rights. So we're going to look over an article and commentate, and I might not have the most popular opinion on this. So if you're all about those raw, honest reactions, you found the right place. I'm Indigo Moon, and here we dive into everything from the latest reaction videos and social commentary to breaking news events and so much more. You never know what's coming next. Just know it's going to be real, fun, and full of surprises. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this type of content. Alright, let's get to the video. Alright guys, so I got this article from Yahoo News, which was originally posted on E!News. It's titled, Jimmy Kimmel Live was taken off air after Charlie Kirk comments, and it was written by Bentley Maddock. I will have the link in the description of this video. Jimmy Kimmel's late night show is taking a break, finally. I don't even know who is watching it. To be honest, I'm pretty sure that show hasn't been profitable for years, because they already said they were taking Stephen Colbert's late show away, I think in the beginning of next year. So I'm going to go into this some more, but I think there's definitely more to this, leaning towards profits of Jimmy losing his show more than what he said the other night. An ABC spokesperson confirmed to NBC News September 17th that Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely following the late night host's September 15th monologue, which included comments about conservative activist Charlie Kirk's suspected killer. He said, "The MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them," Jimmy said on the show, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. Now, I want to say something about this. I think that a lot of the reason why people on the conservative side were happy to hear that Jimmy lost his show because they are getting sick of watching this nonsense. It's like 99% of cable TV is liberal pushing media, some even very far left media, but mostly liberal, Democrat leading media. And conservatives don't have a lot of content that they can watch on cable television except for Fox. When politics have consumed every part of our entertainment, people get sick of it. I mean, who cares what a comedian thinks about politics? Who cares what these actresses and actors think? Who cares about what athletes think? And it just goes on and on. It's like everybody now is a political commentator, and the majority of it is left-leaning. People are really getting sick of that hypocrisy too. It's like if something had happened to a well-known Democrat speaker, something like what happened to Charlie Kirk, they would be so upset. They would make sure to find every proof that it was a conservative, and even if they didn't, they would still lie and say the person was a conservative, right? But let's say it's happening like the same way it is happening right now. Their media would have all kinds of memorials. They would talk about First Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment rights, and they would just go on and on. It'd be a whole conversation about gun control and taking guns away. I mean, the list would go on, and you wouldn't have any comedian going out there on a late night show, cable late night show, and say something like this. So why is it okay for them to do it? Constant. That is the biggest problem. It's constant. That audience, what's so crazy, is such a small half of the American population. And I think this is kind of what is going to start to unfold in cable and news as they're trying to hold on to that last little bit of hope to make it through, because streaming's taking over. Cable's dying. When all the boomers have finally passed away, cable's done. Gen Xers and below are not watching cable television. Every generation watches less and less cable TV. That even youngest ones of Gen X, they don't watch anything of cable. I think a lot of this is coming from people just getting sick of this constant disrespect of conservatives in general, but conservative leaders. The lying is also such a big problem because my previous video has the charging documents, the PDF. So if you would like to download that and see it for yourself, I do have a link of it in the description, but we go over everything in that video. So please check it out. In that video, like I said, we will go over the charging documents. And when the police were interviewing Tyler's parents, his mom made a point to say that her son was in a romantic relationship with his roommate, who is a biological male that was in the process of transitioning to a woman, and that over the years he has been very pro-gay rights, especially trans rights. I don't think any conservative is pro-gay, pro-trans. Hello, that's everything on the left side. Go out there and blatantly say that Tyler Robinson is a conservative and that Republicans are doing everything possible to twist it around is such nonsense, and people are so sick of being lied to straight to their face and there's no consequence. And I agree with that. It's not going to be the most popular opinion, but I'm going to say it. There needs to be limited free speech when we're talking about entertainment, cable entertainment, especially the news, streaming services as well. I even believe we need to go so far as monitoring the internet like Facebook and Instagram, because we have let this quote unquote free speech just go way too far. We've turned free speech into freedom of hate. The fact that Tyler had a Discord group and they had been talking in there, basically planning this whole murder, and no one can do anything about it because he has freedom of speech to threaten somebody, and he couldn't do anything until after the event happened. There is something seriously wrong with that. This man and his friends planned a murder, and we can't do anything because that's protected speech? It's not protected speech until the act is done. What? This is one of the biggest problems. So people are just going online spewing all this hate. The cable news, they spread all these lies and all these hate, calling people fascists, asking for the heads of conservative leaders on stakes. They went even so far as having the person who was running to be the vice president praising the protesters who blew up all those Teslas. It's gotten out of control, and we need to put a limit to that, because there is a fiduciary responsibility when you have a large audience. I work in a field that takes fiduciary responsibilities very seriously. I would lose my license if I went against those fiduciary responsibilities, because I'm in a role where I am guiding people. I have to take so many things into account about my client before I can guide them, and everything needs to be in their interests. I cannot do business with them that is going to be more beneficial to me and not to them, especially if it's going to harm them. And you can't use any deceitful language to trick people into something, right? People who go in front of hundreds of millions of people a night don't carry this kind of fiduciary responsibility. You have people of all ages consuming your content, and you don't think that that's going to have some kind of repercussion? That's just ignorant to think that that's not so. Somebody like Jimmy Kimmel has a huge audience and a huge following, and people who trust him, they do. It's like there's a already kind of veil of fiduciary responsibility around people who are like that, like Jimmy Kimmel celebrities. If we're going to be allowing them to make political statements, then there is a fiduciary responsibility to the public to not spread hate, to not spread negativity, to not lie. I think that we need to start putting laws into place, holding people accountable for the things that they say on television and on the internet who do have this type of power. And of course, that's going to take some time to word the fiduciary duties, but we need to start, because look at the way the world is going. It has gotten so out of control, and so much hatred is just spewed on regular cable news every night that it's tearing our country apart. It's tearing families apart. All right, so continuing on with the article, it says Tyler Robinson, 22, was taken into custody September 12th after authorities said he turned himself in. He was then charged with aggravated murder over the fatal shooting of Kirk, 31, at Utah Valley University September 10th. Since his arrest, authorities released alleged text messages from Robinson in which he said he targeted Kirk because he had enough of his hatred. And so we do go over all of this in my previous video, so I'm not going to really make too much comment about that since I already did that the other day. So if you are interested in that, you can watch my previous video on the channel. In a September 17th interview, Federal Communications Commission Chair Brendan Carr described Kimmel's monologue as the sickest conduct possible and threatened to take action against ABC and its parent company, Disney, noting that the FCC had the authority to revoke ABC's affiliate licenses. Shortly after, Nexstar Media Group Inc., which owns more than 200 TV stations in the U.S., announced that its ABC affiliates would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with Tonight Show, with ABC later pulling the show altogether. I want to make a few points here. Everybody's freaking out because of this poll, and we really need to look at the money. Late night shows have been doing horrible for years, and they really started tanking after the C virus. Colbert is losing his show. They had announced earlier this year that beginning next year his show is canceled. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jimmy Kimmel Live show was also going through the same thing in the background, because clearly they pulled him like so abruptly. Like they said he had already a show planned for the next day, and there was people out there protesting that had gotten the tickets already for that show, and there was no show. I don't think they would have made it so rash, because look what happened with Colbert. I mean, they made like a 6-month announcement ahead of time. But I think that's part of the reason why they didn't make such a big deal to keep him on the show, or just to keep his show going general. Nexstar is in the middle of selling to a different affiliate company. People are getting tired of constantly hearing leftist TTW comments on their television, especially on their cable television. You can't escape it. All the late night shows are left-leaning. All the news networks minus Fox are left-leaning. It's like any TV show you watch is gonna throw in your face all their left-leaning ideologies. There's no place to consume media without having political ideologies constantly in your face. And if it's one that you absolutely do not agree with, it's going to rile you up to the point that you're going to start feeling a lot of anger and frustration. I've had to really stop watching YouTube, minus what research I do for my channel, because I can't take it anymore. It's just too much, and really coming from both sides. I have to really put the effort to find politically neutral television shows. A lot of people are in that boat. So I completely understand from a profit standpoint why Nexstar felt so strongly that night to just say it's the last straw. I believe that Disney, being such a left-leaning company, has absolutely no issue. Actually, I believe they did say that through ABC that they don't think Jimmy said anything that was that crazy. And to be fair, from all the crazy far left things I hear, he didn't say the craziest thing. It's just people are getting so sick of having to hear it all the time, and then there's no accountability. So continuing on, it says, meanwhile, Kimmel, who has hosted the late night show since 2003, has not spoken out publicly since ABC's decision to pause his program. However, he did react to Kirk's death with a plea for the nation. Instead of the angry finger pointing, the 57-year-old shared in a September 10th statement on Instagram, "Can we just for one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human?" Kimmel also expressed his condolences to the Turning Point USA co-founder's wife, Erica Kirk, and their 2 young children, adding, "On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all their children, parents, and innocents who fell victim to senseless gun violence." comments. I just want to say here that though publicly I'm sure it's appreciated that he made these comments on Instagram, I think most people can put together after the things that he said that night and doubling down so hard because ABC told him that if he had made an apology and if he was willing to donate to Turning Point, that maybe there is a conversation to be had. And as of that day, he absolutely refused to do that. So I am a bit surprised that he even posted this on Instagram because he was so adamant that he was not going to apologize. And because of that, this comes off so disingenuous and fake. You didn't care nothing about this woman and her children when you were making that joke. Don't come off now like all of a sudden you care. You guys have been cheering on, ha ha ha, they love guns, and then they got gun violence done against them, ha ha ha. And then the worst of it, just saying that, oh, Tyler Kirk's a Republican, oh, his parents are Republican, he's a Republican, he's a Republican. Oh, look, they're trying to say that he's not. They're liars. When it's like, we have the charging documents. Hello? We can see it. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes. If somebody is telling you that the sky is red and you're looking up at the sky and you can clearly see that it's blue and they just will not drop it. They will stomp their feet and scream in your face that the sky is red and you know it's not. And then they give you some nonsense that colors are a spectrum. And so maybe you see it as blue, but they're seeing it as red. So we really have to then accept the fact that everybody sees it as something different, even though scientifically we know why we perceive the sky as blue. Nah, that's nonsense. No. I feel like it's red today. That's the kind of shit people are getting sick of. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and drop a comment below with your thoughts. What do you think of the video? Do you agree with my reactions, or did you see something that I might have missed? I'd love to know. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a reaction. Bye, guys.